Hey there, Beth Strathman here. Did you know that October is Emotional Awareness Month? It is. And so I thought I'd spend my time on this video today talking about how you as a leader can be a more emotionally aware leader by building a high-performing team using psychological safety. So what is psychological safety, first and foremost? Well, psychological safety is the belief that you will not be criticized or blamed or humiliated for speaking up about ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. And psychological safety is that condition, those beliefs, that allow teams to take risks and be vulnerable in front of each other. And it takes a really self-aware and emotionally aware team leader to be able to create the conditions for psychological safety. So here are 3 ways that you as a team leader can build psychological safety for your team. And they also show that you're emotionally aware. So number 1, you can frame the team's work as a series of learning problems, not simply execution problems. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you are helping the team to understand that things might be uncertain. We don't know how things are going to turn out. And we depend on not only one another, but we might depend on other teams. So there's a lot of moving parts here. So we have an idea of how we want to move forward, but everything we're going to learn as we go along. So in a sense, you're kind of moving away from blaming people for maybe mistakes that are made along the way to framing it as, okay, well, that didn't work out. What can we learn from this? And as you are designing the work as a learning problem, you're setting the stage for creating the rationale for the reason why people need to speak up and voice their concerns and not hold back, or voice their ideas, or voice what they learned from mistakes that they've made in the past. So that's one way you can be that emotionally aware leader, to frame the team's work as a series of learning problems. Secondly, the emotionally aware leader with their teams will admit their own fallibility, their own limitations. So what this requires of you from an emotional awareness standpoint is to let go of your ego and shift to a more vulnerable position with your team to say, hey, I don't have all the answers. I only have one perspective here, so I need people to give me their input to round out the parts that I don't have experience with, I don't have a viewpoint on, I may not have thought of. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, the emotionally aware leader will build psychological safety with their teams by being curious, asking a lot of questions. Again, this creates the necessity for your team to speak up because you're asking them questions about what they're thinking, what they've experienced in the past, what their perspective it is, how do they see it. So you're creating the context to encourage them to speak up and add their input to the team by being curious and asking a lot of questions. Putting your ego aside once again to say, hey, I don't have all the answers here. Everybody, I'm curious to what you think. So those are 3 ways you can be an emotionally aware leader, create psychological safety on your teams, and in the process build a high-performing team that may still make mistakes, but at least they're willing to talk about them, learn from them, take more risks, and be vulnerable in front of each other. So happy Emotional Awareness Month, and you're going to want to click on the link in this post to my Leadership Impact Quiz. It will help you discover areas where you have the potential to have more positive impact in your organization as a leader. Thanks.